Hey folks, welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to do a preliminary product review of some new watercolors that I purchased over the weekend. Yeah, I kind of went a little crazy with the art supply haul. It's okay. You're not a shopaholic if you have a YouTube channel. It's totally justified. It's like an investment or whatever. So for these paints, I just tried them out on a random piece of paper just to get an idea of what the paints look like and how they worked together. Once I did that, I was able to visualize in my mind how I could use these colors to make my concept a reality. And this is just a process that I go to sort of just gather my thoughts and be able to give a full review, because if you just draw out a couple of swatches of watercolor on a page, it's like fine, but the real test is when you try to integrate them into your workflow and to see how easy they are to use and how they look with the rest of your art supplies. So without further ado, let's carry on with this preliminary review. Because I'm using a new medium, I tried to give myself a little bit of a safety net by basing out the colors using the watercolor set that I'm familiar with. So that way I would know where all the colors need to go, and that way we can rule user error out of the equation when judging these colors. Let me first start off by saying I love me some watercolors, but one problem I have with a lot of watercolors is that they are too bright and too vibrant. That's a problem? I know, right? But black and dark colors are what make vibrant colors pop, which is why I'm always using Copic markers on top of watercolors just to try and make them stand out and create more contrast. And why don't I just use an ink wash instead of buying a whole new set of watercolors, you ask? Because it's an addiction and I need an excuse to buy new toys. But really, it's because I've noticed that mixing the watercolors I have with the ink I use, either Indian ink or water-soluble pens, makes the colors muddy instead of making them darker. So I got this set of blackish colors to see if I could get some rich darkness in my paintings, and it worked out really well. So because I was using these paints to make the drawing pop and not to express my deepest, darkest goth sentiments, I also used some more vibrant colors. So let's start off with the cons, which aren't really cons, just more setbacks when it comes to these paints, before I move on to my rave review, for the sake of honesty and transparency. So the watercolors come in a little plastic container, but they're in a box. So unlike my Winsor Newton set that is all plastic and has a little water cubby and tons of places to mix paint, this set does not have any room for mixing colors, which does not make it a very good travel companion. But because I have two other brands of watercolor that come in tubes, I already had my mixing palette ready. And by mixing palette, I mean a plate. Secondly, you get what you pay for. This is a palette of blackish watercolors. It has a very limited range of color and tones, and even at that, it doesn't get pitch black, but I loved it for the effect I was looking for. But as you will see, this is a mixed media and mixed medium piece, so I use brighter colors with the darker colors to create greater contrast. Additionally, as a warning, or more of just like a note when handling these paints, once you put water onto the paint, it comes up pretty easily out of the palette. So when I would wet my brush and I touch the paint, I was having to mix it or to dab it on my palette just to take some of the color off, so that way I wouldn't be putting too much paint on the page or more than I wanted. verdict for this paint is that I really love this set and I can't wait to do more with it. It worked exactly how I needed it to work, and it created a nice muted colors and provided great contrast. In the future, I'll probably do a more in-depth video on how to use these paints and how to work with them. So if you want to see this drawing and more awesome drawings on the daily, you can follow me on Instagram at hv_studio. I also have a store now at Redbubble, so if you want to snag a print of this and other awesome designs, check out the link in the description. And thanks so much for watching. You know what to do. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to keep the dream alive. Keep it alive!